working out really nice for that, having that income for free money on that too. They just put out parking meters in front of the building now too, so it makes it a little bit harder for us to park. We still have our spots that we can still park. They won't be renting those out, so we still have that. So.
How much do we get for space?
It depends on what they're storing there, man. There's to write down what she has for that. So that. But it's been actually it's good money for us for open space on that too. And the nice thing about them, when people have the cars that are staying there, there's no weeds growing up in the cracks of the parking lot too, so we'll have to put the weeds on there too. So. But yeah, we're trying to minimize our costs down there on that. And just try to keep going on that too. Any other questions?
Regarding the opening for the office position,
yes.
Are you going to put the notice of generally on it?
We have in the past done that too. We can't. Now, what we've been doing in the past is we've been using ZipRecruiter, I believe, for what we've been able to do and getting all resumes on that too. I have no problem with putting an ad in the Leone too. My article is due tonight when I get done with this meeting, so I can add it to my article on that too. So I'd be more than happy to do that. So on that.
You might want to put it in a box, highlighted, because I think if you get somebody connected with our lodge, you have a better chance of longevity, or at least have a background. So
correct.
People might not apply, but they have friends that may be acceptable to us.
Right, and that's the nice thing about having Lori Rossi now as an employee. The fact that he does have that tie to our organization on that too, for that. So she's not a full-time employee; she'll just be putting in the hours that being able to get back that she can help on that. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'll make myself a note to add that. Okay, any other questions? This time then we'll move to State First Vice President. Barbara? That's on yourself. There you go.
Okay. We're the past national president, we're the president, we're the past president, grand officers, lodge presidents, and guests. It seems that we might be heading to the end of this pandemic. We can only hope. Last month, I joined an online kickoff event for leaders of the Italian American community. Our Supreme President, Nancy Quinn, spoke as well as our National Chair for Commission for Social Justice, Robert Farida. The group name is the Conference of Presidents of Major Italian American Organizations. Over 350 people sat in on the conference. Many were Daughters, Sons, and Daughters of Italy and America Lodge presidents. The event was sponsored by the Daughters, Sons, and Daughters of Italy and America, UNICO, which is the Italian word for unique, the National Organization of Italian American Women, NIAF, which is the National Italian American Foundation, and the Italian Sons and Daughters of America. Since our ancestors were first arrived in America and formed their various lodges and organizations, our groups have never found a way to work together. As a result, we have never been able to help one another accomplish our goals, nor have we been able to speak with a strong voice on a national level. I have volunteered to participate with this organization in the youth committee, with our first committee meeting being held tomorrow. My hope is that we will share what has worked in other areas. Our CSJ Chair, Tony Resabudo, has also joined the Columbus Day Committee. I will continue to keep you updated on the actions of this group. There is strength in numbers and unity, and unity will give us those numbers. There will not be a trading of members, there will only be a trading of information and ideas. Because of the pandemic, many of our lodges have not been able to meet in person. Some of our lodges have arranged to meet virtually or have had hybrid meetings. I've been invited to many of these hybrid meetings and appreciate how welcome they have made me feel. I've been happy to share information about other lodges, events, and the Grand Lodge as it has been available. The lodges that are finding ways to get together are keeping their members engaged. We all need to remember to keep our members engaged. Vice President has been collecting lodge newsletters and sending summaries to all the lodge presidents. I hope they are sharing the information with
Is
their
she
members. Communication is most
doing the
important,
campaign speech
especially
now?
during this pandemic, so we can keep our order alive and well. I would like to thank Financial Secretary David Lavasari for the time he spent on the phone with me explaining entries on the financial report. I am not an accountant, and he has made things very clear to a layperson. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. Any questions?
Barbara, what was the name of that committee again? The national committee?
Oh, okay, it's the national, wait a minute.
Of the conference of presidents.
Yes, thank you, Vera.
Thank you, Barbara. Pauline, say, yeah.
I have been communicating with my area lodges, and I want to first thank the lodges for their newsletters, because with that information I am sharing with Barbara, and then we're combining a letter that goes out monthly to all of the lodges throughout the state. And also I'm sharing the information that I'm receiving from National, and I've been sitting in on the Wednesday afternoon, what is it, something live with our first national president, vice president, and I've been encouraging our members in the lodges to please take the time to connect to these different, or these various videos that National is offering, and it's very important that we keep that communication going. And I want to thank Barbara, because with her we've been communicating with this newsletter that goes out to each lodge president, which I think has been accepted and very much appreciated. And again, I want to mention that losing 2 lodges in the Central was very sad, but it was just had to happen. And I know Maria, as one of the state deputies, was sad losing our lodge, the Minnetonka Lodge, as well as our Monterey Lodge. And I understand that quite a few of the members have transferred to the Watsonville Lodge, and I think the Columbia Lodge. I haven't heard too much about William Ponca Lodge, and how many has transferred to the various lodges. But again, I think the communication is very important, and I think it's been appreciated with what the vice presidents have been sending out each month. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Sadie has, from my understanding, has still some health issues, and somebody reported earlier today that she got out of the hospital yesterday. So we want to keep her in our prayers and thoughts. I know she always enjoys, nice cards and letters for that too. So we can keep her in our thoughts and prayers for that, for her. Next is meeting past State President Lynn.
Thank you very much.
I just have a few comments. First of all, I have to be honest, I miss visiting all the lodges, and both Bill and I
We're
were
sad
sad when our official visits were just not possible.
but
But it has been really exciting to read about the Zoom meetings, and to thank you, Sister Barbara and Sister Pauline.
One of the
One
things
of the things I just kind of really need to stress, I've been working down at the Grand Lodge
on
on
Tuesdays,
trying to keep up with all of the mortuary benefits,
and
and I have an SOS.
Please,
Please,
all of you,
ask your financial secretaries, number one,
when a
when a regular member has died, be sure to send the paperwork out to
the
various family members, letting them know of the mortuary benefit.
Secondly,
we just received notice
that they do not have to have an
that they do
official
not have to have an
death
official
certificate. I can't accept a copy.
death certificate. I can't
So
accept
that
a
might help
copy.
some of the things.
So that might help some of the things.
Thirdly,
It's
it's important
that you double check your Cigna mortuary benefit sheets, because
the
the
insurance
insurance
company
company
is
is being
very
very
technical.
technical.
As they fill it out,
if they don't have the right person listed, and I do not have the Social
security numbers,
it's a
it's a
red
red
flag
flag
and they stop us in
passing.
passing.
I
I
can't tell you
how
how many
many
backups
backups
we
we
had
had
with
with
Lori
Lori
and
and
I
I
emails through
a
a young lady
young
called
lady
Alicia
called Anisha
with Cigna.
with Cigna.
And it's
And it's
because
because
the
the
person
person
that they listed was
was
not
not
on the original document, or the fact that they have it in a trust fund. I just
or
recently ran across
they have
the
a
fact that
trust
because
fund.
we are
I
in the
just
state of
recently ran across
California,
the fact that because
if
we
a
are in the
person
state of
dies, it
California,
automatically
if a
goes to
person
their
dies,
spouse.
automatically
And I
goes
had
to
a
their
gentleman that left
spouse.
it to his trust.
And I
He was
had
told
a
that
gentleman
no,
that
I had
left
to
it
get
to his
permission from the
trust.
wife
He was
saying
told
that
that
this
no,
was
I had to get
okay.
permission from the wife saying that
It's
this
just
was okay.
amazing. I know it's only $500.
It's just amazing. I know it's only $500, and Manny, I know you and I have
But
communicated
believe
about a
me,
gentleman.
it just
But
seems like
believe me,
there's more
it just seems like there's more
flags that go up,
flags that
and
go
we have
up,
to kind
and
of
we have to
respond.
kind of
I
respond. I had someone else that had a power of attorney filled out
And then I had to
for
have
him.
the documentation
And then
for
I had to have
that.
the documentation
Or if
for that.
It's been made
Or
to a
if
wife or a
it's made
husband
to
and
a wife
passed
or a
away, then
husband
we
and
have to have
passed
an
away, then
affidavit
we
from
have
the children.
to have an affidavit from the children.
It's not an
So,
easy matter,
it's
and
not
I
an easy
apologize
matter,
if
and
things
I
don't move as
apologize
fast as we'd like them to, but
things
believe
don't
me,
move
as fast as they come in, I try to match it. The other
fast as
thing
they
is,
come in,
I
I
have
try to
some
match
very
it.
common
other
people
thing
that
is,
I know
I have
that
some
have been
very
members for
common
years,
people that I
and
know
they're regular
that have
members,
been
and
members
it
for
breaks my
years,
heart when I see
and
them
they're regular
come on
members,
these
and it
issues,
breaks my heart when I see
saying,
them come on these
listen,
issues, saying,
please try to reach out to these
please
people,
try
let
to
them
reach out to
know
these people,
that
let
they
them know
do lose
that
their
they
monetary
do
benefits.
lose their
Sometimes
monetary
I'm not sure
benefit.
if they're sure of
Sometimes
it,
I'm not
but I think
sure,
we probably need
sure
to
of it,
reach out to
but
our
I think we
members more and
probably
keep them
need to
informed on
reach
that.
out to our members more and keep them informed on that.
Like I say,
And,
it's just, it
like I
breaks
say,
my heart to
it's
sit
just,
there and see all the
it
cancellations.
breaks my heart to sit there and see all the cancellations, it breaks my heart to see that I can't answer your questions about the
I think we
mortuary.
need to let
but,
people know.
I think we
what's
need to
required.
let people know what's
Keep our
required
financial secretaries on top of
keep
it.
our financial secretaries on top of
And
it.
very quickly, hopefully you read my
Very quickly,
national
hopefully,
article.
read my national article
I
under
try
national
to
trustee, I try to
let you know what's
let
keeping
you
up.
know what's
Just quick
keeping up.
reminder.
Just quick reminder,
National is giving you
National is
your
giving you
initiation fee for
your
all new
initiation
members.
fee
$8
for all
if
new
it goes
members,
to national.
$8
They
if
have
it goes
waived
to
that through
national. They
August.
have waived that
I will
through
not talk about
August.
the national
I will
convention
not talk
or
about
anything
the
else
national
because
convention or
I
anything else, because I know that you or John will give you more information on that.
But
But,
national
and
is really
is really
trying to reach out to our
younger
members.
members.
And I think
And I think
Pauline
Pauline and Barb are talking about the videos,
If
if you haven't seen them, they're very informative.
They've
They've
also
also
done
done
some
some
articles
articles on
Alzheimer's and autism.
Alzheimer's and
They're
autism,
going to try to do
and
more
they're
about our
going
culture.
to try to do
So
more
they're on
about our
either
culture.
YouTube or you
So
can do it on Facebook.
they're on either YouTube
So
or you
I
can do it
have
on Facebook.
no further
So I
information.
have
know I spoke way too
no
long.
further information, I know I spoke way too long.
But are there any
John, I
questions?
apologize. But are there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marciana, state, orator.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I don't really have anything to report. I haven't been able to go anywhere. I've been working on a couple of career projects, so I really haven't done much. And nobody's contacted me. I have been watching emails way back and forth, and I reviewed the house the other day, but that's about it.
All right, thank you, Mark. I know Al may speak of this later with the judiciary committee, but I know the one bylaw that California did submit for the officer to, or a social member can be an officer in the lodge except for vice president, president, or delegate did get passed at national, and I'll let him speak more on that when we get to the judiciary on that. Next is state recording secretary. Lori?
Good morning. So a lot of my report has already, well, not, my report has already been discussed a little bit with the Rodell situation, and then myself and Lynn, going into the Grand Lodge, kind of taking care of business down there while we, wait to hire somebody. But in regards to the William Paca Lodge and the, Monterey Lodge, closing, they both actually closed, on the 31st of December. The William Paca Lodge, they had 55 members. 7 of the members transferred to the Columbia Lodge. 1 became a member at Lodge, and then the rest of them canceled. And it was really sad to cancel these longtime members some of them had been members since 1954. So that's really, really sad to, click that button that you're canceling them after that long. So it's sad that they didn't want to transfer somewhere else or just, be part of our organization. The Monterey Lodge had about 30 members, and 10 of those members transferred to various lodges, and one became a member at large. So I really wanted to thank past state president Maria Pazio-Pignati for her help in getting these done, along with the president of the William Papa Lodge, Gloria Rebento, and Jackie Kirchie, financial secretary of the Monterey Lodge. All of these ladies have done a lot of work to try and keep the members active, to keep them, to transfer them, and it's hard to see, these lodges. State President John mentioned the graffiti is still going on at the Grand Lodge office. I think that's always going to be a problem. I think it's not been as much since COVID has been going on. So State President John and the Western Foundation trustee, Mark Rossi, has gone down on occasion, and, they're practicing their Picasso skills and painting over it. And maybe someday we'll have a mural up there so they won't paint on the building. The parking lot rental is doing really well. Our home rental manager, Margaret Viselli, is doing a great job with that. She's actually contracted with, I'm not sure who it is, but I think maybe it's cars that they rent daily or something, but there's a person there quite a bit that unlocks and locks the gate, and cars come and go. So our revenue from that is anywhere from $2,500 to $2,800 a month. So that's pretty much what we're getting from the Grand Lodge building, along with the church. So we're not sure when the city of San Francisco is going to allow us to start renting our Hall of Mirrors again. They seem to be maybe opening up a little bit quicker, and we do get a lot of calls at the Grand Lodge office asking for rentals in June and July. So, she's not able to book those because we can't really say for sure that we're going to be able to open up to them, but people are interested. So that's a positive. At this time, that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Laurie.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to our state financial secretary, David. Again, I want to thank David for all the work he's been doing for this, amongst all the other tax purposes he deals with it to the tax company and such. It's not an easy task that he's been dealing with, and I appreciate everything he's been doing. So thank you, David. Go ahead.
No problem. So if I can get the screen share.
Yeah, David, you're set up. You should be able to share. Just go to the bottom toolbar. Do you see the sharing?
Yeah, I clicked it. It said disabled.
Okay.
On.
It's still disabled?
Yeah, it's still saying disabled.
You may have to make him a host.
Yeah. And then I get to do that. Okay, here we go. Okay. And I think that's it. Do we see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So what we're looking at is a general fund statement of activity, which is basically translates the most more commonly known in a lot of financials as balance sheet. But non-profit, we call it a statement of activity or statement of financial position. I'm sorry. Let me correct that. The statement of activities is your income statement for a non-profit. So this is a statement of financial position. discuss here. There hasn't been that much differences on that, so I'm gonna go to the statement of activities. And, I'm gonna go to my summary at the end. So in general, we were in actual for 2020, we ended up with a net negative $4,256. So as you can see, our revenue fell, but so did our expenses. And actually we did, I didn't change the date, sorry about that. This is 20 and that's 19. I'll correct that and get it recirculated. But, so this is in fact 2020. But the revenue revenue fell a lot, but so did expenses. And most of our expenses that fell, of course, were travel related. That didn't really happen, that couldn't happen. And also there were other things about like, payroll positions that weren't filled was a significant amount too. So dropping down, I kind of recap it by, I call them profit centers, but activity centers might be a better word, I don't know. We're not really supposed to say profit, but, so like, just our dues admin operating is kind of like our general, thing. We have building operations, convention, of course, was minimal or nothing. We didn't have a royal pageant. The only donations dropped off quite a bit. So maybe that's an oversight. Maybe some of us could correct that. You know, I should have said something too, because that's a vital thing for our lodge again. We did okay with the final of the 365 fundraiser, but that's pretty much, so that kind of, without going into too much detail, because I'm always open and I want to offer, because there's not a whole lot of time in a meeting like this to go into details and stuff, and I'm sure if there's questions I enjoy, I actually invite those and want people to engage. And I think after the April 15th deadline, which of course was pushed to May, but that's okay. I think I want to set a date and to offer a Zoom for the I don't know, number nerds, for people that want to or have questions and or want to discuss more about what's going on here. But that's pretty much my Grand Lodge report there. Yes, yes, sir.
This is John Tedesco.
Yes.
Please go back to the statement of financial position.
Sure.
Okay, could you please go, yeah, what I wanted to point out is line 18 and 20. Account 11104 and 11107.
Yes.
I think actually those are not collectible. As neither one of those entities have the assets to pay those.
Yeah, the benefit insurance, I was gonna talk about that because I have a separate financial for that illustrates that, but I was gonna make that point on that. In other words, like, just looking at it from here, and we'll look at the more detail on the benefit insurance, but, it grew the amount of the admin fee we charged it. And because we're charging ourselves, it's almost like we kind of are deluding ourselves that it can afford to pay the 10,000. Is that a?
Well, actually, my point is that the benefit insurance fund has a negative equity or a negative fund balance. So it's unable to pay the 57,200. The most they can pay is something like 32,000. And you need to make an allowance for doubtful account, that is uncollectible accounts. Otherwise, we're overstating the bottom line of the Grand Lodge. While you're saying that we only lost $4,200, we are actually in the hole like $70,000.
Yeah, by the way, like, the general fund of the Grand Lodge and the benefit insurance before I report to any outside, like, meaning when I report, when
The IRS, yeah.
taxes, I merge those and it disappears anyway, okay?
Yeah, but still, you still have the Western Foundation that wouldn't be able to pay the $30,000 anyway.
We'll go, again, like that's, we could go to the financial of that. I'd have to review that
Well,
statement. But,
all
it's
I'm
really more
concerned
about.
Dave, all I'm concerned about is that
But the benefit insurance, absolutely, your point is valid.
well, the benefit insurance could have an extra $20,000 if we ever finish the audit and send it to Cigna, or New York Life, whoever now is the company. Because that is an overpayment that has been made over years, and we should be able to recover. But maybe what we should do, Dave, is have a separate video conference when maybe you, me, Dave, Hugo, maybe you can help out with that.
Yes.
And maybe we get Roy Manoni, because this involves the Western Foundation as well. In that same video conference and discuss these figures. Because
Absolutely.
before you file the tax returns, you need to get it straightened out.
Yes, I agree with that, yes.
That's all I had.
And it has bearing as to an ongoing, about the admin fee. That's something that I was going to discuss in the budget section that we haven't created, but we're going to create soon. But it is one of the things that, like, the charging of admin fees are impaired, or it's questionable whether they're worthwhile, and that needs to be discussed and hammered out. Yes.
Yeah, well,
More than just one person.
when you present the benefit insurance fund, maybe we can get into those details.
Okay, which I'm going to do now.
David, before you pass on there, can we go back to that 111.04 due from Western Foundation? I guess that's Las Vegas. What is that?
Well,
Why aren't those funds, why haven't they been transferred already?
I would basically say it's because of Grand Lodge office turnover, never being able to get into that thing, and but it's just something we have to do. It's definitely gone the 2 years. It really, through your efforts to retrieve the funds was very good. But these funds really are Grand Lodge general funds, because that lodge never bothered to have an official vote, or we've asked for, I believe Lori said today or the other day that we've asked for minutes to see their intent of these funds, and it never really came out. Just to kind of circle back real quick, is that the president of that lodge took it upon himself to give the funds to a scholarship, a separate, not our agency's scholarship fund, from what I understand, and then Roy was instrumental in retrieving all of those funds, and that's what we're talking about, just for people that are wondering. Okay, but so the answer to that is it just needs to be moved back over, and that's it pretty much. Let me move on to the benefit insurance. Again, this is the kind of thing that there's a lot of things to discuss, and that's why I think we should have, and I don't mind hosting a Zoom on that for, the people we need to have involved in that.
Yeah, what I want to point out, Dave, is make sure that those funds stay identified as coming from the Las Vegas Lodge, because I think after 3 years,
No, it's 2 years and it's already run.
we got to do something with
So
it.
in 2021, they're going to be their general fund money.
We don't want it to blend into the other assets of the Grand Lodge.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well, actually, but it's 2 years, Roy, and it's already run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the deal. So, okay. It's just the fact that we just haven't moved it yet. It will be moved. Right after the meeting, I'll send an email for Lori to let's move insurance?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it now? Benefit insurance?
No.
Just share the screen again.
Oh, I have to reattach it now. And share. How about there?
It's coming.
Yay.
There you go.
Okay, okay. So, where this is the income, this is the statement of activities for the benefit insurance part of the Grand Lodge. The Grand Lodge is made up of two funds now, after the athletic fund was kind of closed off into a scholarship fund. So basically, we see, we collect $26,559 in a year through the per capita system, you know, from people who are regular members and members with benefits. They pay, you know, $15 a year, and basically we paid out in the year life insurance premiums of about 27, and so there's really no room for this admin fee, and it's an internal charge, and so until and unless something changes, like I'm not understanding, I think we should look into, is there a need for a separate benefit insurance?
Dave,
Yes, sir.
may I interrupt for a second? As you can see, we're still overpaying the insurance company because we are paying more than we collect from them.
That's right.
That 10,000, look.
But I thought the numbers now that are being reported are correct. We'll have to take that discussion off. Yeah, okay.
It's impossible to overpay the insurance company if the computations are made correct.
Okay.
Because
I get what you're saying. Yeah, right, because they don't charge us more than $15 a year for premiums is what you're saying. So there's no way that.
No, the office, somebody at the office makes the computation on what we owe them. The insurance company doesn't bill us.
Right.
So,
From our counts, yeah.
they trust us to make the accurate computation. But as you can see from this, the $198 in line 5 matches the $198 in line 14. But the $26,559.35 in line 6 is substantially less than $26,948.89 that we paid for that in line 15. Now forget the $100 in line 7, because that is initiation dues that we get to keep. We don't pass that on to the insurance company.
Yeah.
So right there, we overpaid almost $400 in 1 year. So we're still continuing to overpay the insurance company, although I thought that spreadsheet that I share with many people indicated if we do the computations correctly, that should never happen.
Yeah, point taken, but I think point taken, and it's one of the things that we will deal with when we meet on a Zoom and separate, because the tie-up, it's a point well taken, and I get that.
Yeah, okay.
So now we have to go back and review all of
My
it.
question still is, who is working with the insurance company to recover the $20,000 that I have identified?
John, at one time, last November, we were in discussion in October, the plan was to have Riddell work on that. You sent her the spreadsheet.
That's everything, yeah.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, she is not here now, so she left in December, and we have not been able to find somebody that has the knowledge to work on that. We're trying to finalize that before the next administration takes over. We know that I've talked to Varus, we were discussing last year about some part of the program needs to be adjusted. He had with a large client that had spamware hacking into their customer that took them 9 months to take care of. I did just reach out to him last month. He apologized apologize for that. He was going to reach out to you to talk to you again about that. I know that you were on when we were talking to him. I know you probably would have answered your emails for your nice vacation in Hawaii. I didn't want to interrupt. But he will be contacting you regarding that to find out what we need for the program to take care of on that too. So.
Well, the program is, the membership program, the only inconvenience is that it doesn't have the totals that makes the computation easier to make.
Correct.
But the computation of the premium paid to the insurance company needs to be reviewed so that it's perfect. Otherwise, we continue to waste money overpaying the insurance company. But let me stop at this point. We can have this conversation again.
Yeah, no, let's
Off the conference call.
Yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, let's not let this die. My goal is to hopefully have this taken care of before the next administration takes over in June. It's been going on for too long, and we'll take care of it at that time.
Good. Thanks.
I will specifically look at and address that, like just check the things and see what if anything I can do on my end. There's it requires like a monthly look at,
Yeah, we lost David.
Hey folks, there's a lot of background noise, so if you're not talking, could we ask you to mute your microphone?
Thank you.
Are you muted, Bill?
Yeah.
Are you still there, David? You can see your screen. We can't hear you talking. Did we lose you, David? Fortunately, David's got the screen tied up. David, can you close the screen that you're sharing? There you go. Thank you. And then maybe you have to join for some reason on that. Okay, let's, in the meantime, while we get David back, let's move on to the next report, which is our state treasurer, Al Trentini.
I don't really have a report. I just want to thank everybody for the help they've provided in the last 4 years. Most of the checks have gone out correctly and expeditiously. That's it.
Thank you, Al. And I appreciate Al has been available every Tuesday afternoon and morning to
Is that what you want me to do? What Al does?
Appreciate his time being there for that. So we still have that checks and balances
Or I will.
for all of our checks.
Well, I can do it. You can do the other one.
No, I can't.
No question.
Why?
He's been really good finding some errors and corrections on that.
What can't you do?
Along these lines, do we still have a meeting of the Financial Advisory Committee regarding cash flow needs?
We haven't, and we can set one up for that.
I would think it'd be important for Al to know this information so he can plan on investments.
Yeah, there really hasn't been that much regarding that. I think that's part of more of the investment committees would be for the foundation itself. Van Lodge does not have any investments that I am aware of. I believe he has the CDs and such for that, but
there are no more CDs. It's all cash.
Okay, thank you, John. Like I said, the financials are not my forte, so as long as my checkbook balances every month, I'm happy with that. So as long as I know I have money, I can spend it. As long as I have checks, I spend it. Okay, but yeah, Roy, there's no problem. We can meet with Al, talk to him prior to the convention, make sure that everything is in order. I know, Lori and Al have been working closely, or Lori, our bookkeeper, and Al to make sure that there's no issues, financially wise.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Al, for being with us on that, for that. So, David, do we have you back yet?
I'm working on it. Wait.
Okay, there's your
I
video.
don't know what happened. I had to uninstall the USB and then put it back, so I don't know what happened on that.
No problem. Do you want to continue with the, where you were at?
Okay, let's do that. So that's just finishing up with the benefit. You can see the benefit insurance now?
No.
Oh, wait, share. There we go. Now?
Yes.
Okay. So we have $32,800 in the bank, but it owes the general fund 57, and it doesn't really. So we have to do a couple things, as John noted. We have to look into why is it that we're paying more than we're collecting. That's kind of should be impossible. And but it really points out that the admin fee is really out of line, possibly. But we have to fix the other thing first before we can figure out how much of anything the benefit insurance can pay admin fee against the general